for that Perez case you were asking about?
Yes, I have it now.
Great, thank you.
All right. We're going to start with Mr. Edward Ford. To the deputies in the courtroom, could you have Mr. Ford appear on the screen, please?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. All right, the court is calling 2019 CR 5345, State of Texas versus Edward Ford. Do I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Joe Ray Garcia for the state.
For the defense?
Glenn Penn for the defense.
All right, and are you Mr. Ford?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Ford, you previously entered a plea by Zoom. Do you have any objections to this sentencing taking place by video?
No, ma'am.
All right. And the court will note for the record that the defendant entered his plea on March 8th, 2021, and that was done by Zoom. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed of a cap of 5 years in the prison. The state is remaining silent on your application, and of course, there are other conditions as well. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are there any objections to the PSI report?
No, Your Honor.
And from the state.
Right. The state is silent on his application. Defense, you may proceed.
Your Honor, just to draw attention to the PSI and to the evaluation, they are recommending that if you grant probation, that Mr. Ford be put into dual diagnosis outpatient treatment. He has had some.
I'm sorry, Mr. Payne. Could you give me 1 moment? This is a judge calling. Just 1 second.
Which judge?
You get everything? Let's see, meeting is streaming live on your. Translator's pretty good. She's good at, you taking on.
All right, we're back. Yes, Mr. Payne.
Judge, so they're recommending to do a dual outpatient program. Mr. Ford has had some mental history here and there. He also suffered a head injury that has caused him some other issues. He is divorced from the complainant in this case. You're privileged to, of course, the PSI. You see that Ms. Perkins is not happy with Mr. Ford. I spoke to Mr. Ford about this. He said that ordered by the court, he will comply with all orders. He won't speak to Ms. Perkins. He will not text her. He won't email her. He'll do whatever he needs to do to remain out and to stay on probation and do what he needs to do. I spoke to him earlier this morning. We had a miscommunication. I didn't get an invite, which I guess my standard operating procedure, when I get an invite, I kind of text my clients to follow up. So I didn't call Mr. Ford, but as soon as I did call Mr. Ford this morning, He's like, I'm on my way. And he ran down to the courthouse. I got online here. You asked us to be back at 2 with the very strong possibility that Mr. Ford was going to go to prison today. But he showed up. He's taken responsibility for what he's done. And we're going to ask the court to grant him probation in this case, put him in the dual outpatient program, see if that mental health, if he needs it, or they can direct him to some of the services that he can utilize, would be a great benefit for him and for society.
All right, so I'm going to note for the record that when the defendant entered his plea on March 8th, the court noted at that time that his court date was going to be April 28th, 2021 at 9 a.m. So Mr. Ford had noticed, but
He did, Judge. And I want to take responsibility for that. Like I said, I should have reached out to him. He knew to be there in person. I knew to be there, or that he would be there in person. He had it down for the 29th. It was his mistake, but I should have called him and let him know the 28th. That was my fault. I just wanted to.
But no, I want everyone to know I do not hold it against him, and I won't hold it against him that he was late for court. He's here.
Thank you, Judge.
Sure. All right, so State, I know you're remaining silent on this, but what is the complainant asking for? Any objection from the defense to me finding out what the complainant is requesting?
Well, Judge, I'll be quite honest. I'll be opposed to the state speaking up, but you have the PSI there. And I told my client this. She doesn't want him to get probation, and she doesn't want any contact with him. That was the sentence.
Okay. So here's my situation that I'm in, Mr. Ford. I don't understand why it appears that you don't understand that she doesn't want anything to do with you.
Well, Your Honor.
And let me wait 1 second. Let me have you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear, affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. So I don't understand why you don't understand she doesn't want anything to do with you.
Okay, so I brought my mom here with me as well because she's been coming to my mom's house, and then she would ask me like for money or something for the kids, and then I would give her money, and then that's when I get in trouble. So my mom's here as a witness that she has been coming by my mom's house. And so it's like very confusing. And then, but now it's clear, like no contact at all.
No, that's not what she's saying. She's saying that she's not saying this. She asked you for money.
So I understand that. And that's why my mom's here, because she's been coming to my mom's house where I'm staying at.
Since when?
Since this whole order was granted. And I told the guy at the DA at the thing that she's been coming by, and he says, well, y'all gonna have contact because y'all are still married. And I said,
who is this person you're saying said that?
The guy when I signed on for when I signed the protective order.
What attorney is this?
He was for the DA's office. I didn't even have an attorney present when I signed that.
Okay, no, we're dealing with where we are now. And where we are now is I don't understand what you don't understand, that she doesn't want any contact with you.
Well, I understand now. I don't want any contact with her.
Well, no, I mean, I know you're saying you understand now. People will always say that they understand things now because they're looking at going to prison. But what I have before me is you constantly getting in touch with her. As you can see, 2018, terroristic threats, public place, motion to revoke. And I'm not even going to pay attention to these violations of protective order because it shows that it was dismissed. Possession of weapon in a prohibited place, granted deferred. Obviously, you completed it because it shows that it was dismissed. And then what we have in this case is we have her saying that you are constantly coming to her school, telling her that bullets don't have a name on them.
That's totally untrue, Your Honor.
And she says she's still afraid.
Well, I can't see how when, like I said, she's coming to my mom's house and she's asking people like, what am I up to? So I mean, it's confusing.
Well, the state is remaining silent, but this is how I want the confusion lifted for me. If your attorney wants to call your mom to testify, he can call your mom to testify. And if the complainant wants to come on Zoom to testify, the complainant can come on Zoom, because I want to know what's going on. Because right now where we are, I can't have someone on probation who will violate protective orders and conditions of bond. Because it's saying here, the defendant has gone to her church and threatened to kill church members. The defendant has gone to her school and caused a disturbance. She's in fear of bodily injury and death to her children and children's father. The defendant has threatened her property. She believes that the defendant is using her family and friends to intimidate her. She has told the defendant not to contact her. She also believes the defendant is stalking her due to his continuous emails, Facebook messaging, and visits to her school and church. So that's my issue.
So yes, I would like to have my mom come forward, because like I said, all those.
No, I mean, it's up to your attorney who he wants to call. But I do know, in order for me to make a decision, it would be nice for me to have the complainant here. But if no one wants to have the complainant here, then that's okay. I'll go without having the complainant here. Mr. Payne?
Well, Judge, I can call his mother, Ms. Ford. The court like that. If we want to bring in the complainant and see if she wants to show up, I'm not opposed to resetting it and seeing if we can get her in. We haven't had any contact with her, of course. And we don't mind cross-examining her on her statements. That would be fine, however the court would like to handle that.
Yes. And is there a reason that, and maybe the state will be prepared, not saying that you're not prepared now, state, to explain to me why the state is silent? Is there something that I should know that I don't know?
Well, Judge, just per agreement and
Okay.
him entering a plea, we went based off the facts that you have and the PSI and his criminal history.
Okay. Because I have this letter and the plea paperwork that are in the STIPs, and it's a letter from this defendant to the complainant. So it's up to you all what you want to do. Mr. Payne, if you wish to call this mom as a witness, you can.
Then we'll go ahead and call her, Your Honor. Did you want to proceed today, or did you want to reset this to call the witness at the same time?
We can proceed today, or either if you wish to have more time, but the only time I'm going to give you is probably to come back on Friday at the latest.
I would think great minds work alike, Judge. I got a 437th, 2 contested hearings on that. I don't know who would get me first. That'd be fine. Like I said, we could do that.
All right, Norma,
Yes, ma'am.
is there any way we can recall Mr. Ford for Friday at 9 a.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Ford, you need to be back here on Friday at 9 a.m.
Yes, ma'am.
in court.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any confusion?
No, ma'am. Friday, 9 a.m.
All right, I will see you then. Just remain in the courtroom. They're going to give you a reset form.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ford, when you step out of the courtroom, please call me.
Yes, sir.
Judge may be excused.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, the next case up then will be on Brandon Murray. Who's the prosecutor on that one?
Joe Ray, Judge.
Okay. Who's the, that's Brian Kimbrough?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm here. Brian Kimbrough.
Court is calling 2015 CR 12011, State of Texas versus Brandon Murray. If I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state,
Joe Ray Garcia for the state.
for the defense.
Brian Kimbrough for Mr. Murray.
And are you Brandon Murray?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Murray, I'm showing you what's entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney?
Yes,
Did you
ma'am.
understand it? And did
Yes,
you
ma'am.
electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did
Yes,
you
ma'am.
understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Brandon Murray who was placed on community supervision in 2015 CR 12011 for the offense of assault family second on
Yes, ma'am.
November 15th, 2016 for a period of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State?
Yes, Your Honor. Violated condition number 2 on or about the first day of October 2020 in Washington County, Arkansas. The defendant, Brandon Murray, did then and there illegally use a controlled substance, namely methamphetamines, in violation of condition number 2.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
State?
Your Honor, violated condition number 5 in Washington County, Arkansas. The defendant, Brandon Murray, did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of November, December 2020, and January 2021 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
The state waives the remaining allegations.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No objection.
All right, just give me a moment. I'm trying to find his paperwork. All right, Mr. Murray, did you understand by pleading true to violation of the conditions 2 and 5, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you to 6 years in prison? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violations of 2 and 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violations of 2 and 5 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. The agreement is to follow the probation officer's recommendation to extend 1 year with state ISF, followed by a transfer back to Arkansas.
That's
Is that
correct.
the
Your Honor.
agreement?
That's the agreement.
All right, Mr. Murray, is that what you're requesting the court to do?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, why are you not being successful on probation?
I made a couple mistakes when I was in Arkansas, and I went back to the penitentiary, and now I learned my lesson, and now I'm just trying to get this behind me, just 90 days or whatever, and get back to Arkansas so I can finish my probation and pay my fees and stuff.
All right, what did he go to
He's on
prison for in
parole.
Arkansas? What's going on?
Oh, he lives in Arkansas, Your Honor.
No, he just said that he got incarcerated while he was in Arkansas. What was he incarcerated for?
Well, he's on parole for an earlier case in Arkansas. I think he's referring to a sanction he got for a parole violation for the same issues that are bringing him before the court here, not reporting, et cetera, et cetera.
Is that correct,
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Murray?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Murray, this is the situation you are in. If you don't follow the conditions that are set for you, you're going to find yourself in prison in Texas. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you all asked for ISF, is that correct?
That was the agreement, yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, why are we requesting ISF? What are we hoping to accomplish with that?
Your Honor, I would think that the probation officer recommended that because he did test positive for methamphetamines And his behavior is similar to those with substance issues of not reporting and disappearing for months on end.
Mr. Murray,
Yes, ma'am.
have you been using any drugs while you've been at the jail?
No, ma'am, I haven't used no drugs.
How long have you been at the Bexar County Jail?
I've been here I've been here 3 weeks.
So when you get out of the Bexar County Jail, you should not test positive. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you end up testing positive, the conversation we're going to be having is, I'm going to look at this sheet of paper and it's going to show me that we've already had this conversation before. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You need to pull your mask up because it doesn't work if it's not over your nose. This is what the court is going to do. I'm going to alternate men conditions, extend you for 1 year, transfer you back to Arkansas if they'll take you. Maybe they won't take you. Rebecca, how long will it take for him to be transferred back to Arkansas?
I'm not sure on that wait time, Judge.
All right. So where are you going to be staying if you're here in Bexar County?
I can get a hotel or whatever.
He has family that's gonna drive here and get him.
She drove down here today.
And who is this family member?
It's actually my girlfriend.
Why are you putting her through this nonsense? She shouldn't have even had to drive down here for you.
Yes, ma'am.
And to all the girlfriends and the boyfriends out there, send Greyhound bus fare because maybe they need to have the punishment. Not that it's a punishment. No offense, Greyhound. You get people where they need to go. But people should not have to drive down to pick you up because you won't act right. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
But you can't leave Bexar County and your probation is not transferred to Bexar County, to Arkansas until they actually accept you. So you're going to have to remain in Bexar County. Is that correct, Ms. Reyes?
That's correct. And I know he was previously accepted, but I'm not sure what the rules are for.
Well,
since
I've been through the interstate compact before, and when I got out, I just stayed in a hotel until the probation got transferred to Arkansas.
Okay. All right. What county in Arkansas?
It's Washington County.
All right, we'll transfer you to Washington County, Arkansas.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, with that, we'll close the record. Don't come back here, Mr. Murray, for foolishness.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm not going to the ISF, right?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Rebecca, I'm going to send you to a breakout room.
yes, ma'am.
Mr. Murray,
Yes, ma'am.
I'll send you to breakout room number 3.
Thank you, Ms. Boyd.
Could
You're
you send me also so I could kind of figure out what's going on with the transfer?
Yes. And who is the person who has the Spanish speaker?
That's Robert Brabach. That's me, Judge.
All right. Who is the prosecutor who's on Robert Brabach's case?
Saunders. Marcus Saunders.
Your Honor,
Yes.
can
I'm
I see if Mr. Perez can hear me?
Oh, I need to add your name, I think, to the interpretation.
I got it already. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's see if he can hear you.
Thank you. Señor Pérez, ¿me escucha? Está en silencio. ¿Me escucha?
Sí.
Gracias.
Tomorrow, whenever.
All right, but
can hear
I don't
me,
know
Your
if is he on Spanish though?
Yes.
He's Spanish speaking, Judge.
No, I know he's Spanish speaking, Mr. Brabach. I'm trying to figure out if he's on this correct channel.
He is, Your Honor. He can hear me on the Spanish channel.
Okay, awesome.
I think I got out when I was in 12th grade. I think I was.
And then after this case, we're going to take up Mr. Diaz.
Yeah, Carmen, I remember you.
Mhm.
Hablas perfecto español.
Your Honor, Cecil Benny,
Y francés también.
Let's give us a moment.
Okay, sure.
I didn't understand, but they didn't pick on me. They just told
Here,
me, like,
yeah.
who to hang around with, and I didn't hang around with the back panel and nothing.
Court is calling
Se llama la causa
So,
Okay.
2021
2021
CR.
CR.
See, Carmen, I don't think we're supposed to be able to hear you, and I'm hearing you.
Oh, Your Honor, maybe if you choose English and mute original audio.
Okay, thank you.
Is that better? Let's see.
All right, the court is calling
Se llama la causa
2021
2021
CR
CR
3754W, State of Texas versus Juan Pablo Perez Corpus. Can I have the parties announce for the record
Preséntense
who
las
is on
partes
stage?
para las actas. Por el
Marcus
Estado,
Sanders.
Marcos
For
Sanders.
the defense,
Y para la defensa,
Roberto Brabach.
Roberto
Mr.
Barba.
Brabach, you're not on the
Señor
appropriate channel. You need
Robert,
to
no
switch
está en el
channels.
canal apropiado.
Okay.
Tiene que cambiarse a inglés.
On the channel.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, can you hear me now?
¿Me escucha?
Okay,
Sí.
Mr. Brian, can you write her number down? Oh, no, it's, not that
Mr.
number.
Brabach,
It's,
you're still on the
Señor
Spanish
Brabach,
channel.
está en el
Okay.
canal de español.
Judge, how do you get onto
Can
that
you see
channel?
where it has the
¿Es
world
donde tiene
globe
el
Her name
mundo?
is Carmen.
at the bottom of your screen? If you'll click on that,
Yes,
please.
ma'am. Yes,
Y
sir.
lo,
Okay, I click
y lo
on what?
¿A qué le oprimo?
Yeah.
The share screen or
It should be a round circle like the world.
a round circle?
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Mr. Brian.
Okay, I'm looking for it.
Yes,
Okay.
I was like 16, 17, I had
Okay.
A
And like, you
round
know, I
circle.
just stay in the hotel or whatever.
All right, Mr. Brabach, are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can
Señor
hear you.
Brabach,
All right,
¿me
give me
puede
a thumbs
escuchar?
up if
Sí.
you can hear me.
Yes,
Sí,
ma'am.
dígame si me puede escuchar.
All right, if you go to the bottom of your screen where it
Sí,
says
va a la
participants,
parte
She
de
did.
abajo donde
Okay.
dice
share
participantes,
screen, do
Okay,
compartir
you see a
pantalla.
circle
Usted ve
that
un círculo
says
que dice
it's the shape
inglés,
of a world,
tiene
like a
la forma
globe?
de un mundo, como un globo terráqueo.
and my sisters.
Are you on a computer?
yes,
¿Está en una
ma'am, I am on my
computadora?
PC.
All right, I'm
Sí,
going
en
to
mi
turn off
computadora.
language
Voy-
interpretation for a moment.
Voy a quitar la
My
interpretación.
address,
All right, Mr. Brabach, are you on a computer?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
All right, so tell me what you see at the bottom of the screen on the toolbar.
On the toolbar, I see stop video, I see participants,
Yes, ma'am.
share screen,
AP,
more, and leave.
Yes, ma'am.
You see anything that's an interpretation signal, interpretation world
Interpretation
box.
signal.
All right, do you see that?
ETTEVILLE.
No,
My bad. FAY.
Do you see anything that says interpretation at the bottom of your screen?
My mom,
I don't see it.
and my
Do
Okay.
you see anything that says
Oh,
more?
yes, I see it now. I
Yes,
see it
ma'am.
now.
All right, you need to turn that on English.
English, okay, I got it.
Yes, ma'am.
and my teenager.
FAYETT.
All right.
Okay.
VIL.
All right, so we're back on the record for the defense.
Estamos de vuelta en
Robert
actas. Para
Brabach.
la defensa, Robert Brabach.
And are you Juan Perez
¿Es usted
Corpus?
Juan Pérez
Yes, ma'am.
Corpus?
FAY.
Yes.
ETTVIL.
We're proceeding by video
Estamos
because of the
procediendo por
pandemic.
video debido a la pandemia.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's Arkansas.
All right, we're proceeding by video.
Estamos procediendo
Because
vía
of the
por
pandemic,
video
is there
debido a
any
la
objection
pandemia.
from
¿Hay
the
alguna
state?
objeción por parte del
No
Estado?
objection.
No
Ninguna.
objection.
Y ninguna de la defensa.
Any objection from the defense?
No
La
objection.
objeción de la
All
defensa,
right.
no hay
We have
objeción.
an interpreter with us
Tenemos
here
un
today.
intérprete
Could I
con
have the
nosotros hoy
interpreter,
que se
if you would
presente.
raise your
Por
hand,
favor,
please?
levante la mano derecha.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully translate from Spanish into English and from English into Spanish, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'd state your name for the record, please.
Carmen Tarragona Sáez.
Thank you. Mr. Brabach, your client
Señor
speaks
Brabach.
Spanish.
Su cliente
Do you
habla
speak
español.
Spanish?
¿Usted
I
habla
speak
español?
Spanish. I
Habla
learned it in
español.
Madrid.
y lo
All right, and
aprendí
do
en
you speak
Madrid.
Spanish
¿Y
fluently?
usted
I speak
habla
good Spanish
español
and French.
fluidamente? Hablo español
Did
y
you go
francés.
over all of
¿Usted
the
repasó
documents
todos los
with your client in
documentos con su
Spanish?
cliente en
I went
español?
over the documents, he
Repasé
understands.
los documentos y él
Did
lo
you go
entendió.
over the documents
Usted
with him in
los
Spanish?
I
repasó
went
con
over
él
them,
en
I spoke
español.
Spanish with
Los
him, asked
los
him if he has
repasé,
any
hablé en
questions to the
español y le
documents, he
pregunté
does
si tenía
not.
alguna pregunta
All right,
acerca de
Mr.
los
Perez, you can
documentos.
lower your hand.
Señor Pérez, puede bajar su mano.
Mr. Perez, all of the
Señor Pérez,
documents that I'm
todos
going
los
to review with you
documentos que
are
voy
in
a repasar
Spanish.
con usted están en
Were those
español.
documents, I'm
Esos
sorry, are in
documentos,
English.
perdón, están en inglés.
Were those documents
¿Esos
explained to
documentos
you
se
in
lo
Spanish?
explicaron en español a usted?
Yes.
Yes.
I told my mom and my dad, yes. I sent them at the house.
Mr. Corpus, did you sign a
Señor Corpus,
document
usted firmó un
entitled
documento
Defendant's
que
Consent to
son
Plea by
el
Video
consentimiento
Conference?
del acusado para declararse por videoconferencia.
My older brother, I sent my
Yes.
older brother at my dad's
Yes.
house.
And did you go over that document with
Y
your
usted
attorney and did you
revisó ese
understand it?
documento con su abogado y usted lo entendió.
Yes.
Yes.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and
Pues
voluntarily
encuentra
consented to
que
appear by
el
video.
acusado
Did you review
a sabiendas
with
libre y
your attorney
voluntariamente
and
dio su
sign a document
consentimiento para
entitled Waiver of
declararse por
Indictment,
videoconferencia.
reading of
Usted
information and rights under Article
repasó con su abogado la
1.051
renuncia a la
and
lectura
26.03 of the
del-
Code of Criminal Procedure?
del documento acusatorio, de acuerdo a los artículos del código.
Sí.
Yes.
And did you
¿Y
understand that
usted
document?
entendió ese documento?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you understand by
Usted
signing that
entendió que al
document,
firmar ese
you are giving up
documento,
the right to
usted está
have a grand
renunciando su
jury
derecho a
hear
que
the
el jurado
evidence in this
indagatorio
case
escuche las
and
pruebas en este
decide on
caso
whether or
y
not to
decida
indict
si
this
a
case?
acusarlo formalmente o no?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you also
Usted
understand
también
that you were giving
entendió
up certain
que
rights
usted
your
estaba
attorney has,
renunciando a ciertos
namely
derechos
2
que tiene
days
su
from the
abogado, que
presentation of the
da 2
information
días para
and 10 days from
después
the
de la
presentation of the
presentación
information
del
to
documento
prepare for
acusatorio
trial?
y 10 días para prepararse a juicio?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you intend to give up
Su
those rights and
intención
enter
era
into a
renunciar a
plea
esos
bargaining
derechos y
agreement
llegar a
in
un
this case?
acuerdo en este caso?
Yes.
Yes.
The court will find that the defendant has
La
knowingly
corte
and
encuentra
voluntarily
que
waived
el
indictment,
acusado libre y
reading of
voluntariamente
information and rights under Article
renunció a la lectura y de
1.051
los
and
artículos derechos de acuerdo
26.03 of the
1.5
Code
y
of Criminal
26.1 del Código de
Did you
Procedimientos
review with
Penales.
your attorney
Usted
the
repasó con
document
su abogado un
entitled Information
documento
and did you
que es
understand it?
el documento acusatorio de la Fiscalía y usted lo entendió?
Yes.
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the
Abogado, usted
information?
renuncia a la lectura del documento
State, are you
acusatorio,
proceeding
sí
on
lo
the
hago.
information as
Estado,
presented?
¿está usted
Yes, Judge.
procediendo de acuerdo al documento
Mr. Corpus,
acusatorio?
did
Sí,
you
su señoría.
review,
Señor Corpus,
sign,
revisó
and
y
understand
firmó
the document
y
entitled
entendió
Application for
el
Community Supervision?
documento que de la solicitud para supervisión de comunidad? Yes.
Counsel, have you
Abogado,
received all the
usted ha
discovery in this
recibido
case?
todas
Did
las
you review it with your
pruebas en
client?
este caso y
Yes,
usted
I
las
did, and I
repasó con
reviewed it.
su cliente, sí,
Court will
y
find
las
that the state
recibí
is in
y las
compliance with
revisé.
discovery.
El corte
Mr.
falla
Corpus,
que
did you review
si
with
ha,
your attorney a document entitled
señor
Court's
Corpus,
Admonishment
usted
and Defendant's Waivers
usted
and Affidavit of
revisó con su
Admonitions?
abogado un
Sign it in
documento que
all
son
the
las
appropriate
advertencias del
places and
tribunal y la
understand it.
renuncia del acusado a los derechos constitucionales. ¿Usted los entendió y firmó en los lugares apropiados?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you understand what you're charged with by information?
¿Entendió de qué
Is
se le
driving while
acusa?
intoxicated,
Que es
third
manejar
or
bajo
more.
los efectos
That
del
is a
alcohol por
third-degree
tercera
felony.
ocasión. Ese es un
The range
delito
of
grave de
punishment
tercer
is
grado. El rango de
anywhere from
castigo
2
es
to
de
10 years
2 a
in
10
prison
años de
and up
prisión
to
y una
$10,000
multa de hasta
fine.
de
Did you understand?
$10,000. ¿Usted entendió eso?
Yes.
Yes.
If you have a plea
Si
bargaining
usted
agreement with the
tiene un
state,
convenio
the court
declaratorio
does
con el
not have to
Estado,
follow that plea
yo no
bargaining
tengo que
agreement.
aceptarlo.
If for any reason
Si
the
por
court
cualquier
does not
razón
follow that
no
plea
lo
bargaining agreement
acepto,
and gives
de
you more than you
acuerdo y
bargained
le
for,
da
the
más
fact
castigo
that
del
you
que usted
entered a plea
acordó,
will
el
not
hecho
be
de que
used
usted se
against you
declaró
and you
no
will
será
be
usado en
allowed
su
to
contra
withdraw
y
your
se le
plea. Did you
permitirá
understand?
retirar su declaración. ¿Me entiende eso?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you understand you have
Usted
a right to
entendió
jury
que usted
trial,
tiene un derecho
a
al
right
derecho
for
a juicio
you
con
or your
jurado,
attorney to
el derecho
cross-examine
que usted
and
o su
confront
abogado
any witnesses the
interrogaren y
state would call
confronten a
and the
cualquier
right to remain
testigo que el
silent.
Estado trajera y el derecho a permanecer en silencio?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you understand by
Usted
entering this plea
entendió
bargain
que a
agreement,
las
you were giving up
llegar a
those
este
rights?
convenio declaratorio, usted está renunciando a esos derechos?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you intend to give up
Es
those
su
rights and
intención
enter into a
renunciar a
plea
esos
bargain
derechos y
agreement in
llegar
this
a
case?
un acuerdo en este caso?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Broback,
Señor Broback,
has your client been able to
su
provide you
cliente lo ha
with any
podido
defenses to this
darle
offense?
alguna
Yes, he has.
defensa para este delito,
Do
si
you
lo ha
believe
hecho.
he has a
¿Usted
rational
cree
as well
que
as a
él
factual
tiene una
understanding of
comprensión
the charges
racional y
against
de
him?
los hechos
Yes,
de
I
los
do.
cargos en su contra? Sí
Do
lo
you
creo.
believe he's currently
¿Usted cree
competent
que él es
and was legally
competente
sane at the
actualmente y
time
que
of this
estaba de acuerdo
offense?
legalmente
Yes,
al
I do.
momento de este delito? Sí, lo creo.
Mr. Corpus,
Señor
has
Corpus,
anyone threatened,
¿alguien lo ha
coerced you,
amenazado,
or placed you in
coaccionado
fear to get you
o
to enter this plea?
atemorizado para que usted se declare hoy?
No.
No.
Has anyone promised you
¿Alguien le ha
anything
prometido
other than the
algo
plea bargain
aparte de
agreement
lo que el
to get
convenio
you to enter
declaratorio
this plea?
para que usted se declare?
No.
No.
Are you satisfied with
¿Usted
the way
está
you've been represented?
satisfecho de la manera que lo ha representado su abogado?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
¿Es usted ciudadano de los Estados Unidos?
No.
No.
Mr. Broback,
Señor Broback,
did you advise your
¿usted
client of the
asesoró a su
consequences
cliente de
of
las
pleading no
consecuencias de
contest
declararse no
or
me
guilty
opongo o
in the
culpable
application of federal
y la
immigration law?
aplicación de la ley
Yes, I did.
federal de migración? Sí lo
Did that
hice.
advice
Y
include
ese
possible
consejo
consequences such
incluyó las
as
posibles
deportation,
consecuencias tales como la
exclusion
deportación,
from
la que le
admission to the
prohíban la
United
entrada a
States,
los
or the
Estados
denial of
Unidos o le
naturalization?
nieguen la
Yes, that he'd
naturalización?
be subject to
Sí lo hice
possible
y que
deportation.
él puede ser
Do you
sujeto a una
believe
posible
that your
deportación.
client
¿Usted cree que
understands
su cliente
the
entiende
immigration
las
consequences of
consecuencias de
entering a plea
inmigración de
into in
declararse
this cause
y
number?
para
Yes, I do.
terminar en esta
Mr.
causa? Sí.
Corpus,
Señor
did your
Corpus,
attorney
su
advise you of the
abogado le
consequences of
aconsejó,
pleading
le
no
aconsejó
contest
de las
or
consecuencias de
guilty in the
declararse no me
application of
opongo
federal
o
immigration
culpable
law?
en la aplicación de la ley federal de migración?
Yes.
Yes.
Did that advice
Y ese
include
consejo
possible
incluyó
consequences
las
such as
posibles consecuencias
deportation,
tales como la deportación,
exclusion from
que le
admission to the
prohíban la
United
entrada a
States,
los Estados
or the
Unidos
denial of
o que le
naturalization?
nieguen la naturalización?
Yes.
Yes.
And do you
¿Y
understand the
usted
immigration
entiende que
consequences
las
of entering
consecuencias de
a plea
migración de
in this
declararse
cause
en
number?
esta causa?
¿Cómo?
Excuse me?
Do you understand
¿Usted
the
entiende
immigration
las consecuencias
consequences
de
of
migración
entering
de
into a plea bargain
declararse,
agreement
de
in
llegar a un
this
acuerdo
cause
en
number
esta
for the
causa?
offense of
Yes.
Por el
driving while
delito de manejar
intoxicated third
bajo
or
los
more?
efectos del alcohol por tercera o más ocasión?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. The court will find
Señor,
that the defendant
vamos
has
a
knowingly and
encontrar que el
voluntarily waived his
acusado
right to
libre y
jury trial.
voluntariamente ha
Mr.
renunciado a
Corpus,
su
did you
derecho a un
review
juicio
the
con
plea bargain
jurado.
page with your attorney?
¿Usted
Did you
revisó la
understand
hoja
it?
del convenio con su abogado y usted la entendió?
Yes.
Yes.
According to the plea bargain
De
agreement,
acuerdo al
punishment
convenio
is to be assessed
declaratorio,
at
el
4 years in
castigo
prison.
son 4
There's
años en prisión,
$1,000 fine.
una multa de
There's no
$1,000,
application for
no
deferred
hay
adjudication,
solicitud para un
and the
fallo
state is
diferido
recommending
y el
community
Estado está
supervision. Did you
recomendando una
understand that to be
supervisión
the agreement,
comunitaria.
Mr.
Así es
Corpus?
como usted entiende el acuerdo, señor Corpus.
Yes.
Yes.
Defense, is that the agreement?
Defensa,
Yes,
así es
ma'am,
como
it is.
usted el
State,
acuerdo,
is that
sí,
the
su
agreement?
señoría. Estado, ¿ese
Yes,
es el
Judge.
acuerdo? Sí, su
Mr.
señoría.
Corpus, did you sign the
Señor Corpus,
paragraph
usted
entitled
firmó
Waiver
el
of
párrafo que
Repeal
dice
in both
que es
places?
renuncia
Did you
a la
understand it and
apelación
did you
en
review
ambos
it with your
lugares.
attorney?
¿Usted lo entendió y lo revisó con su abogado?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you understand by
¿Usted
signing that
entendió que al
you're
firmar
waiving your
eso,
right to
usted
appeal?
está
The only
renunciando a su
items that
derecho a
can be appealed
apelación y
are
que lo
written
único que
pretrial
puede
motions
apelar
that
son
have been
las
filed, heard,
mociones
ruled upon
previas
by the
a
court? Did you
la
understand?
previas al juicio y que hayan sido ventiladas en el tribunal. ¿Usted entiende eso?
Yes.
Yes.
Counsel, have there been any such
Abogado,
motions?
¿han habido
No.
tales mociones? No.
Outside the plea bargaining
Fuera
agreement, the
del
state is
convenio
recommending
declaratorio,
that your
el
community
Estado está
supervision be
recomendando
for a
que
term of 4 years,
su supervisión
every 10
comunitaria sea
days
por un
in the
plazo de
Bexar
4
County Jail
años,
as a
10
condition,
años en la cárcel
CHAP
del condado de Bexar
evaluation,
como una condición, una evaluación TAP,
120 hours of community
120
service
horas de servicio a la
restitution,
comunidad y
DWI
restitución.
intervention,
La clase de intervención para
DIP,
quienes manejan en estado de
ignition
ebriedad,
interlock for
el
half the term
BIP,
of
un
supervision,
mecanismo antiarranque por
2-year
la mitad
Texas
del
driver's
plazo del
license suspension.
y
Did
la
you
suspensión de
understand that
su
those were
licencia de
recommendations
manejar
by
por
the
2
state and
años?
the court does not
¿Usted
have to
entiende
follow
que
those
esas son las
recommendations?
recomendaciones del Estado y que yo no tengo que seguir esas recomendaciones?
Yes.
Yes.
Then to the offense as
Entonces,
charged in the
al
indictment,
delito, ¿cómo
how do
se le
you
acusa
plead?
en el
Guilty,
documento
not
acusatorio? ¿Cómo
guilty,
se
or no
declara?
contest?
Culpable o no me opongo?
No me opongo.
No contest.
State any evidence to
Estado,
support the defendant's
¿algunas
plea?
pruebas para apoyar
the
la
state offers states
declaración
Exhibit
del
1 and
acusado? Sí,
attachments.
ofrece el elemento de
No
prueba
objection.
número 1 y sus adjuntos. No hay
Mr.
ninguna
Corpus, did you
objeción.
review a
Señor Corpus,
document with your
usted
attorney
revisó con su
entitled
abogado un
Waiver,
documento que es
Consent to
la
Stipulation
renuncia y
of Testimony and
consentimiento de las
Stipulations? Did you
estipulaciones y
understand it?
testimonio
And
y
did you
estipulaciones?
electronically
¿Usted
sign
los
it
entendió
in
y
all the
firmó
appropriate places?
electrónicamente en todos los lugares apropiados?
Yes.
Yes.
Again, did you
Una
understand
vez
you have a
más,
right to
usted
jury
entendió
trial,
que tiene un
a right
derecho a
for
un
you
juicio
or
con
your
jurado,
attorney to
que hay un
cross-examine
derecho a
and
que usted o
confront
su
any
abogado
witnesses the state would call in
interroguen
the right
y
to remain
confronten a
silent?
cualquier testigo que el Estado trajera y el derecho a permanecer en silencio?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you understand
Usted
that today the
entendió
state will
que
be
hoy el
presenting
Estado
evidence
va a
in the
presentar
form of
pruebas
witnesses' statements
que
and police
pueden
reports,
ser
but most
testimonio de
importantly, there will
testigos y
be
el
no live
reporte de policía,
testimony?
pero lo más importante es que no habrá testimonio en vivo.
Yes.
Yes.
The court will find that the defendant
Falla
has
que
knowingly
el
and
acusado
voluntarily
ha libre y
waived and
voluntariamente
consented to
renunciado y
stipulation
consentido a
of
las
testimony and
estipulaciones,
stipulations.
testimonio y
The court will
estipulaciones,
accept into evidence
acepta
states
como
exhibits
elemento de
1 and
prueba el elemento de
attachments,
prueba el
and the
Estado
court will
número
review
1
the
con sus
same.
adjuntos
After
y lo
reviewing
vamos a
states
revisar.
exhibits
Después de
1 and
revisar el
attachments, the
elemento
court
de
find
prueba
there's sufficient
del
evidence
Estado,
to find you
encuentra que hay
guilty.
suficientes
The court
pruebas
will
para
find you
encontrarlo
guilty.
culpable y
Are
si
we
es así, lo
proceeding with
encontraré
sentencing?
culpable.
Yes.
Vamos a proceder
Is
para
there
la
anything you
sentencia.
wish to
Sí.
say on
¿Hay
behalf of
algo
your
que
client?
quiera decir en
No,
nombre
I
de
think
su
he'll do
cliente?
well on
No,
probation.
creo
He
que le va a ir
understands
bien
the
en libertad
consequences. He's
condicional, él
learned the
entiende
lesson.
las consecuencias y él ha aprendido su lección.
All right, this is what the
Está
court
bien.
is going to do.
Esto es lo
The
que
court
va
will
a
sentence
hacer.
you to 4
Lo
years
sentencio a
in the
4
prison,
años de
suspended
prisión
and
y se
probated for 4
suspende y
years.
por 4
There's
años hay
$1,000
una
fine
multa de
that
$1,000
will be probated,
que eso también se suspenderá,
$60 restitution for testing,
de restitución por las pruebas,
DWI
el-
intervention,
la clase intervención para quienes
DIP,
manejan bajo los efectos del alcohol,
ignition
el
interlock
DIP,
for
un
half the
mecanismo
term,
de arranque por la mitad del término,
2-year Texas
2,
driver's
una
license
suspensión
suspension.
de la
How
licencia de
long has your
manejar
client been in
de
custody?
Texas, de una suspensión.
He's been
¿Cuánto
in
tiempo lleva
custody
su
since
cliente
March
en
10th.
custodia? Desde el
All
10
right,
de
10
marzo.
days in the Bexar County
10
Jail as a
días en la
condition.
cárcel
I'll
del
show that that is
condado de
satisfied.
Bexar, que con esa condición ya se satisfizo.
Intensive
Y
outpatient treatment with
y
probation,
tratamiento intensivo no interno
proof
con el
of
Departamento de
employment
Libertad, tiene que probar que está empleado
within 30 days of
dentro de
release,
los próximos de los 30 días de que lo pongan en libertad,
120 hours of community service
120 horas de
restitution,
servicio a
or
la
you can
comunidad,
pay
o
$7.25 per
puede
hour
pagar
to the San Antonio Food Bank.
$7.50 por hora
There
al
is to be
Banco de
regular
Alimentos de San
reporting
Antonio. Se tiene que reportar
by
regularmente
Zoom
vía Zoom
or in person,
o en persona,
and there's to be AA meetings
y
2 times per
tiene que
week.
ir a reuniones de
Rebecca, is there
Alcohólicos
anything else
Anónimos
that he
2
needs?
veces a la semana. ¿Hay algo más que necesite, Rebeca? No, su señoría.
Mr. Corpus, is there
Señor
anything
Corpus,
else that
¿hay
you need
algo
from the
más que
court
usted
in order to be
necesita de
successful
mí
on this
para
probation?
tener éxito en esta libertad condicional?
No.
No.
Mr. Corpus, did you sign a
Señor Corpus,
document
usted
entitled
firmó un
Trial Court
documento que dice
Certification
que
of
es la
Defendant's Rights to
certificación
Appeal?
del Tribunal
Did
de
you
Primera
review it with your
Instancia de los
attorney and did
derechos
you
de
understand
apelación
it?
del acusado. ¿Usted lo revisó con su abogado y lo entendió y lo firmó?
Yes.
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargain
ya que esto
agreement,
es un convenio, un
because I
caso por
followed your
convenio
plea bargain
declaratorio, y
agreement,
yo
and
acepté
because you
su
waived your
convenio,
right to
y porque
appeal,
usted
you do not
renunció al
have
derecho
the
a
court's
apelación, no
permission
tiene
to
el
appeal.
permiso de la corte para
Do
apelar.
you understand?
¿Usted entiende eso?
Yes.
Yes.
And also,
Y
because
también,
this is a felony
ya que
conviction,
esto es
you're not
una
allowed to
condena de un
own or
delito
possess
grave, usted
any
no tiene
weapons or
permiso de
ammunition.
ser
Do you
propietario o
understand?
poseer ningún arma ni municiones. ¿Usted entiende eso?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, good luck to you.
Buena suerte.
Mr. Perez,
Y
it's
señor
obvious to the
Pérez,
court that you probably
obviamente
have
es
a
a la corte
alcohol
que usted
problem.
tiene un
You are
problema
not
de
allowed
alcohol.
to drink
No se le
a single
permite,
drop
usted
of
no puede
alcohol
tomar
while you're
una
on
sola
probation.
gota
Do
de
you
alcohol
understand?
mientras esté en libertad condicional. ¿Usted entiende eso?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, then we'll close the record. I'm going to
Entonces
send you
vamos
to a
a cerrar
breakout
el
room,
acta, lo voy a
and
mandar a una sala de
if the
reunión
interpreter could go to
y
the
si el
breakout room as
intérprete puede
well,
ir con usted
and probation will go over
y el
conditions with you,
funcionario de
and then
libertad
after that you will
condicional va a
be
repasar
excused.
las
Thank you, Judge.
las
All right,
condiciones de
and
libertad
Mr. Portis, let
condicional.
me find out where
Así
you
que
are.
déjeme ver dónde está usted.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't see him in a breakout room.
He's in the
Um,
detention right now.
Marcus, do you see him? Because you're a co-host. Do you see him in a breakout room by chance?
Usted lo ve ya en una sala de reunión.
He was in one. Oh, he's in one.
You want him in the breakout room?
Okay.
Y
Yeah, it doesn't have him.
lo
There
quiere.
he is.
Ahí
I
está.
keep wanting
Ahí
to see
está.
Corpus, but I
Quiero,
just see
quiero ver,
Perez.
quería
All
ver
right, I'm going to
cuerpos,
send
pero
you to
veo Pérez.
breakout
Lo
room
voy a
number 2.
enviar a la sala de juntas número
And if the
2.
interpreter could go
Y
to
si
2,
puede ir la
and
la-
Rebecca, if you
y
could go to 2 for
Rebeca,
me,
si puede
please.
ir a las 2, por favor.
And Judge, can you
La
give me the
sala.
cause number? I came in after you said that.
Sure. The cause number is 2021 CR 3754W.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And
Your
Mr.
Honor.
Yes, you're excused, or if you
Thank
want to
you.
go to number 2, you can.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Who are the parties on Alfonso Christopher Diaz?
Joe Ray and I, Judge.
Diaz.
State.
Who's the attorney on Alfonso Diaz?
I am, Judge.
Will Brooks, we can't hear him for some reason.
Can you
Okay,
hear me
we'll
now?
make sure we get back to him.
Can you hear me now, Judge?
All right, who are the parties on Antonio Rodriguez?
We're here, Judge.
Is the attorney here for Antonio Rodriguez?
Yes, Judge. Attorney's here and my client is present in my office.
You're on mute or something, John.
I'm on mute?
I think it's because the interpretation feature, like some people are in.
Yes.
You have to unmute the original.
Ah, thank you, Brenna. You're so awesome. All right, then maybe the attorney for Diaz didn't hear me.
I'm here, Judge.
All right, thank you.
We'll wait, Judge, but me and Mr. Rodriguez are here as well. So we'll wait till you're done.
All right, Mr. Brooks, I'll take you then.
Thank you, Judge.
You should be thanking Brenna because she was like, you're still on the Spanish channel. Nobody can hear you.
Thank you, Brenna.
All right, so, and the prosecutor on this is Joe Ray.
Yes, Judge.
All right, and is Mr. Diaz in the courtroom?
He is in jail, Judge.
All right, let me. All right, is this a plea of true with explanation? What is happening here?
That's correct, Judge.
All right, the court then will call 2017 CR 9032, State of Texas versus Alfonso Christopher Diaz. We're gonna have parties announced for the record, please, for the state,
Joe Ray Garcia for the state.
for the defense.
Will Brooks for Mr. Diaz, Judge.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Judge.
Mr. Diaz, I'm showing you a document entitled Defendants Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Are you the same Alfonso Christopher Diaz who was placed on deferred adjudication and cause number 2017 CR 9032 for the offense of assault family second offense on September 26, 2017 for a period of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
All right, state.
Violated condition number 5 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Alfonso Christopher Diaz, did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer in person for the months of December 2018, January 2019, and February 2019 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True, Your Honor.
And violated condition number 15F on or about the 22nd day of February 2019 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Alfonso Christopher Diaz, did then and there fail to attend, comply with all the rules, regulations, instructions, and agreement as directed by the court and or supervision officer and or the head or authorized personnel of the following counsel/education program, state accredited battering intervention and prevention program in violation of condition number 15F.
All right, unmute Mr. Diaz. How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True, Your Honor.
The state waives the remaining allegations, Your Honor.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Diaz, did you understand by pleading true to violations of conditions 5 and 15F, the court can find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
I understand, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of conditions 5 and 15F?
Yes, I do.
The court will find 5 and 15F true. Is there an agreement?
There's not, Judge.
State, what are you requesting?
We're requesting revocation, adjudication, and 3-year sentence to TDC.
All right, defense, what are you requesting?
Judge, we're asking for the court to consider continuing Mr. Diaz on whatever terms the court would deem appropriate. And I have briefly, Judge, a witness, and then I was going to call Mr. Diaz an argument, but however the court wants to manage that.
All right, does somebody have information on why he didn't report? Or is that from your witness, Mr. Brooks?
I can call him to talk about that, Judge, absolutely.
All right, Mr. Diaz, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. Please state your name for the record.
Alfonso Christopher Diaz.
All right, Mr. Brooks, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Alfonso, how long have you been on probation or deferred adjudication?
Since 2017.
Okay. Is that your first felony charge?
Yes.
Have you had any felony charges since that time?
No, I have not.
Okay. What have you done for that probation?
For the beginning of it, I was reporting and submitting UAs.
I'm gonna need you to speak up.
For the beginning of it, I was reporting and submitting UAs, and
what have you not done?
I haven't gone to any of the classes that I was supposed to be going to.
And led true to not reporting as well, correct?
Yes.
Why didn't you do those things?
At the given time, I wasn't really in a good spot. I made a lot of mistakes. At the time, I didn't have children. I was lost. And later on down the line, a lot of hardships led to me gaining and just taking responsibility for my kids and just working. And I found a purpose.
So, Alfonso, the court can see sort of the case history itself, and will know that this is not the first time you've been in this situation. What's different between this time and last time? Why should the court give you a chance?
last time I didn't have any responsibilities such as taking care of my family, such as my wife and my two children. I'm the only one bringing in any money, paying my rents, and just continuously just working home, and that's basically all I do.
We all have obligations and things we have to do. Why haven't you prioritized probation for the court?
I haven't prioritized it just purely because I was just making mistakes, and given the time, whenever I did get arrested again last year, I bonded out, the pandemic hit. I was reporting for that, and then everything got so confused.
Right, you're fading off. I can't hear you.
You need to keep your voice up.
I'm sorry, I'm sick. I'm losing my voice.
We still can't hear you. You're fading in and out.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was the question again?
The question was, we've all got obligations and things we have to do. Why were you not taking care of your business with probation?
I wasn't taking care of my probation. There really is no real good answer to that other than I just wasn't taking responsibility for what I needed to do. My head wasn't in the right place. I wasn't taking care of what needed to be taken care of.
And
I don't know why you keep fading out. Here's the thing. If you keep fading out, I'm not going to strain to try to hear you. The court reporter can't hear you. You start at the high, and then you just slowly go off the cliff where nobody can hear a word you're saying. But here's the other thing. You need to keep that mask on.
I'm sorry. My throat really hurts. I'm just going to try to talk as loud as I can.
Alfonso, are you prepared to do anything the court would ask you to do to stay on probation?
I'm prepared to do anything and everything.
Will you go to ISF if that's what was asked?
I would go to ISF.
Will you,
questions asked.
Will you handle your business and things you haven't been doing?
I will handle everything and anything. I really do not want this conviction on my record. I want to be able to take care of my family. I do not want to be in here worried about what they're going to be doing next. I want to handle everything and just get out of the way and never look back. It has been going on for way, way too long. Since it seems like forever.
Judge, at this point, I'm not sure if you had a chance to take a look at them, but I did provide some letters to JR earlier, and then I provided them to the court for the court's consideration.
Any objections from the state to the court reviewing the letters?
No objections, Your Honor.
All right. Court will review the letters. State, do you have any questions?
Just briefly, Your Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Diaz, as your attorney stated before, you've been in this situation before. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
You've actually been in this situation under this cause 2 times before, right?
This is correct, yes.
And both those times you pled true to violating some conditions of your probation?
Yes, I did.
And both those times you realized that you could have been revoked and sent to prison?
Yes, I did.
And you still continued to not go through with your conditions and picked up a 3rd MTR. And that's why we're here today?
Yes, sir.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Any other follow-up?
No follow-up, Judge. I would note, though, that Ms. Scott, Mr. Diaz's fiance, is present in the Zoom right now. She did submit a letter as well, Judge, but if the court wants to inquire, ask questions for her, she's here to talk about the support network if necessary. If not, I just would have an argument, Judge.
And is she the complainant on this case?
She is not, Judge. I don't believe he has any sort of relationship with the complainant from the case initially. I think it was 2017 was the offense date.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. Court's going to deny the motion. Alternate amend conditions. You're to enroll in VIP within 10 days of your release from custody. If you do not enroll in BIP within 10 days of release, a motion to revoke will be filed. You'll be placed on GPS. You will be allowed to work. Fees will be waived. Mr. Diaz, I want to be very clear on something. Do not come back here for another violation. Do you understand?
I understand, ma'am. Can I ask one question?
No, not if it's about oh, can you do this? Can you do something differently? Because let me just tell you, you walked into this courtroom by Zoom thinking that you could possibly go to prison for 10 years. Now I'm giving you this chance. I've seen you face to face. You've seen me face to face. I will not tolerate any more bad choices from you. And I heard you tell your attorney you made some mistakes. No, you made choices. You didn't make bad mistakes. You made a choice. And I've read all the letters. If you care about the dog, if you care about your wife, if you care about the children, then you will act as though you care about them and show them with actions by completing this probation instead of risking going to prison and leaving them with no financial support. Do you understand?
I understand now.
Is there anything else from either side?
No, Your Honor.
No, Judge.
All right, Mr. Brooks, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. If you can go in there with the probation officer, if you will let the probation officer know that he has pled true to number 5 and 15F, and let her know what the court's ruling was so that she can give him his conditions.
I will do that, Judge. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank everybody for working hard today.
You're welcome. All right, let me find which breakout room you are in.
I think know it.
Joe Ray, do you see what breakout room Mr. Brooks is in?
I'm in 2, Judge.
Ah, okay. If you'll go back to 2, and Mr. Diaz, if you'll go to 2, please.
Thank you.
All right, who are the parties on Antonio Rodriguez?
Here, Judge. John Pettis and my client, Mr. Rodriguez, is here in the office with me.
Judge, and I send you a chat, Judge.
All right. Yes, we're going to take that up, Norma. So they're to remain there.
Thank you so much.
Your Honor.
Just one moment.
Judge.
Just a second. All right, parties are ready?
Yes.
Court is calling 2021 CR 2413, State of Texas versus Antonio Rodriguez. Can I have the parties announced for the record for the state?
Alexandra Williamson.
For the defense?
John Pettis for defense.
Are you Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objections from the defense?
None, Judge.
Mr. Rodriguez, I'm showing you a document entitled Defendants Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Defense, I'm showing you what's entitled Discovery Acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
I have, Judge.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Rodriguez, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rodriguez, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with the offense of stalking. That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargaining agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, and for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison with a possible fine of $10,000? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
He has, Judge.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does, Judge.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Rodriguez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than a plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, very satisfied.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Next, I'm showing you the plea bargain agreement. Did you review that document or that page with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a $1,500 fine. The state recommends deferred adjudication, and there should be no contact with Vivian Sarabia, Sarabia. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver Repeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is recommending that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 5 years. There'll be 120 hours of community service restitution and a life skills course. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state, and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense of stalking, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence to support the defendant's no contest plea?
Yes, Your Honor. The state offers State's Exhibit 1 and attachments.
Any
No,
objections?
Judge. No,
Mr.
Judge.
Rodriguez, I'm showing you a document entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. The court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court has reviewed the same. The court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Judge.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
My client does show remorse. He understands the situation. He understands the mistakes that he obviously made. And we humbly ask the court to follow the agreement.
All right, State, have you been in contact with the complainant in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is she aware of this agreement?
She is okay with him getting probation as long as he does not contact her.
All right, Mr. Rodriguez, do you understand she doesn't want you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand she wants no contact with you whatsoever?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
Do you have any children with her?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any grandchildren with her?
No, ma'am.
Do you all have any relations in common?
No, ma'am.
So there should be no reason for you to have any contact with her. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
That means no emails, no text messages, no going where she works, none of that. She doesn't want to date you. She does not want you. Move on.
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
53.
All right, you're 53-year-old. You're not a teenager. Move on.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, are you employed?
No, ma'am. I'm a disabled veteran.
All right, and I see that she was employed at a school. Is she still there? Is there some place that he need not appear?
I don't know if she's still employed there. John, do you know?
My understanding is that she is still a teacher there, yes. I
All
don't
right.
know the name of the school.
Then you are not. Because my understanding is that how this started is you had grandchildren where she was employed. You are not to go to that school. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If somebody wants you to pick up the grandchildren, you need to tell them you can't because you can't go to that school. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so it's going to be 5 years deferred adjudication, $1,500 fine. That will be probated. Proof of disability or employment within 15 days. No contact with Vivian Sarabia or her place of employment. And I'm not going to say her place of employment on YouTube, but Mr. Rodriguez, you know what school she works at, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You are not to go there.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to put that in my order. And Mr. Perez, when you let probation know what I've ordered, make sure you tell them the name of the school.
I'm gonna have to look that back up, Judge, but yes, I will. Well, he knows it. I'm sorry. Yes, my client knows it. That's fine.
And is there any type of restitution that's owed to her? Because I saw some other things that were happening in the messages.
Your Honor, she's indicated to the state that there is no restitution or injury.
There's going to be 120 hours of community service restitution, or you can pay $7.25 per hour to the San Antonio Food Bank. Life skills course. There's to be regular Zoom reporting or in person. So, Mr. Rodriguez, if for some reason your Zoom is not working or you don't know how to use Zoom, you ought to report in person. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And there are to be random UAs. Mr. Rodriguez, is there anything else that you need or require from the court so that you will be successful on this probation?
No, ma'am.
All right, next I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Rodriguez. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. Probation is in there, and they'll go over conditions with you.
Judge, one last thing, and just for clarification, as part of condition of bond, my client does have a GPS monitor on him. I just request that since that is not a condition of his probation, that we get an order to remove it.
All right, Ms. Williamson, do you have any objections? And we're back on the record, Brenna. Ms. Williamson, do you have any objections to the removal of GPS?
Your Honor, to be cautious, I would prefer that he does stay on the GPS, but I actually have not spoken to the victim about GPS. I don't know her stance on it, so we'll leave that up to the court's discretion.
All right, are you okay with tracking only?
Yes.
We'll do tracking only, we'll waive the fees, and I'll do that for 3 months. However, defense, if the state, and if you want to keep in contact with the state, if they're able to get in touch with the complainant and the complainant is okay with it being removed and the state agrees to it, if you all would just send it to me an email with both parties in the email, I'll remove it. But for now, what we'll do, Mr. Rodriguez, it will be tracking only. What that means is that you're able to move throughout the city or wherever, but it will show us where you are. So if you do have any contact with her, we'll know about it, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. So if you all
Thank
would
you,
go to breakout room number 2, please.
Will do, Judge. Thank you.
Sure. And everyone, just give me a moment.
This is Doug Catmeyer. I've got Carver Zealous. I was just trying to make sure she's been sworn. She's in custody.
Yes, she's been sworn. We're just missing the acknowledgement of discovery. So whoever is a prosecutor who prepared the paperwork on Cara Gonzalez, if you could please send me the by email the acknowledgement of discovery, we'll take that up. Who are the parties on Plethka? Who's the prosecutor?
Your Honor, Jeffrey Martinez, I'm not on that case. I do need to make an announcement for my case so we can get dismissed for the day. We're not going to be doing anything.
All right, just give me a second. Marcus Sanders, can you stand in on Plethka? It's a time offer. All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 3281W, 2020 CR 4581, and 2021 CR 1464, State of Texas versus Anthony Plethka. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? All right, we can't hear you.
Well, Your Honor, may it please the court for a second?
Yes.
Okay, so this morning, this is Daniel De La Garza for Mr. Plethka. Your Honor, this morning you were gracious enough to allow him some time to go, not get his affairs in order, because he's got his affairs in order, but there's an issue with the children being left alone. That issue is not resolved because the warrants weren't lifted until after lunch. So the request from the defense, if the court would allow, we'd ask that this case be recalled for tomorrow morning to proceed to sentencing, so that he may, get his kids secured and taken care of.
Okay, that'll be denied.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
In that case, Your Honor, we're ready to proceed.
Okay. All right, the defendant entered a plea on these cause numbers on April 14th, 2021. We're going to begin with cause number 2020 CR 4581. And each of the cause numbers we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. For the record, the defendant is in the courtroom with his attorney. This is one of the days where the court is allowed to have in-person appearances. Is there any objections from the state or the defense that we proceed by video?
Marcus Sanders for the state, no objection.
No objection, Your Honor, but the defendant would like to address the court.
Yes.
Raising his hand for the record.
Yes, you may address the court, Mr. Plethka.
I didn't get to go nowhere. I've been here, right here in the chamber. I don't have no family, and my kids are there, and my wife went to the hospital because of her heart, and I don't know we don't have no family. It's just us. We're the only family. You asked me to be here. I'm not trying to run from the court, man. I want to to pay my responsibility to society. And I just need a couple more hours. You know, I need to figure out who's gonna. I got 8, 10, and 11. I need to figure out who's gonna take care of it. I didn't leave nowhere. I've been in, like I said, in chambers, and those are my kids. That's all I got. Man. My family.
All right, everyone, just give me one moment, please.
Well, at first they said it was like minor, they thought it was like the actual.
See how she is and what's going on. I'm gonna be here in the morning. I'm gonna mess up this deal.
And that's what I'm concerned about, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I have kids, man. I'm sympathetic to all that
I'm
stuff.
not trying to.
Well, thank you.
All right, we're back on the record.
So I get both sides.
All right, and cause number 2021 CR 3281W. The court will follow the plea bargain agreement. The court will sentence you to 12 months in the state jail facility. This will run concurrent with 2020 CR 4581 and 2021 CR 1464. You receive credit for any time served. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it? Mr. Pletka?
He responded. The affirmative.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And cause number 2020 CR 4581W. The court will follow your plea bargain agreement. Court will sentence you to 12 months in the state jail facility, give you credit for any time served. This will run concurrent with 2021 CR 1464, 2021 CR 3281W. State will take in consideration night bag number 597-517, 597-518, County Court cause number 637713, 647918, 644815, 643631, JN numbers 1966489, 1966492, 1966493, 1966494. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? And under cause number 2021 CR 3281W and under cause number 2020 CR 4581, because these are felony convictions, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Okay.
Next, we're going to move on to cause number 2021 CR 1464. Just one moment. And that cause number, I'm going to follow your plea bargain agreement. Sentence you to 12 months in the state jail facility. Give you credit for any time served. This is the run concurrent with 2020 CR 4581 and 2020 CR 3281W. And this cause number, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Bye-bye.
Your Honor, may I be excused?
Yes, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right, Jeffrey Martinez, you've been patiently waiting. I appreciate your patience. Where are you?
I'm right here, Your Honor.
Yes.
We have a Domingo Flores with you today. I've spoken with the court coordinator at 7. Their docket's done for the day. Their next plea docket is on Monday. It's spoken with Mr. Sanders. That's a prerequisite to take our plea. So we'd be asked to be reset to Monday so we could take care of both those things.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, On Domingo Flores, can
Yes,
you
ma'am.
recall this for either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week?
We can do Wednesday.
All right, so we'll have you come back with your client on May 5th.
That's wonderful, Your Honor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Just 1 second, sorry. Who are the parties on Desiree Tina? And Mr. Brooks, you're still here?
Judge, we had a question about the term. You didn't pronounce a term for GPS, and probation officer was asking me. I said I didn't think you did.
3 months.
3 months. Okay. Thank you,
Yes.
Judge.
You're welcome. Who are the attorneys for Tina?
It's Mr. Jesse Sepulveda, but I don't think he's in the Zoom anymore. I don't see him.
All right, as soon as he comes back, we'll take it up.
Okay, okay.
All right, Nifa Carrillo.
Yes, Your Honor. We've been waiting for my client to be sworn in. I don't know if we need anything else to do on paper regarding paperwork.
All right, just give us 1 moment. Is your client, who is your client?
Guadalupe Cáceres.
Okay. All right, I'm going to send you to a breakout room. The court coordinator will go in that breakout room and we'll find out where the paperwork is. So if you can go to breakout room number 1.
Okay.
And Norma, if you could go to number 1. Who was the prosecutor working on the paperwork for Cáceres?
That was
Hunter.
Hunter, but one of us, Marcus or I, will be handling that.
All right, nobody has any paperwork. So if one of you all could go to breakout room number 1.
Okay, I'll go, Judge.
All right. And then could the prosecutor who is on Cara Salas, if you can email me the discovery acknowledgement, we'll take this case up.
Judge, that was Hunter too. I'll have to text him to get him to do it.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Your Honor, this is Andres Campion
Yes.
on Julian Salazar. And we have some issues as to our evidentiary hearing that I don't think are going to allow us to go forward today. And it has to do with getting the information of the officers that need to be subpoenaed.
All right, just 1 moment. Anyone else ready?
Judge, this is Ed Cano.
Yes.
Hi, ma'am. Okay, so I've been here on this Adrian Jimenez case. And this was the case that was, I told you, we tried to get a hold of him. And I got appointed 2 weeks ago, Judge, on this case. And it looked like he made bond. And then we received notice to be here this morning, yesterday. And so
you're saying he made bond, but I have in front of me where they're requesting.
now what happened, he asked for a PR and then you
Yes.
denied it. Yeah, you denied it, but I think he lowered his bond and then he got out because he's out on a AA best bail bond, Judge. And so so I guess what I'm saying is I'm not sure that he was aware about today's proceeding, Judge. And
Okay, when is his next court date?
May 11th, Your Honor.
All right, we'll see you on May 11th.
Okay, Judge. Thanks a lot. Can I be
All right.
excused, please?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Everyone just give me a second. All right, Hunter Morris, on Gloria Carazales, we're ready to go on that, except that I don't have the discovery acknowledgement. So I'm hoping you can just email it to me. I'll print it out and we'll proceed.
I sure can, Judge. I'm also looking for the plea paperwork on Casares. Make sure that gets going.
Sure. Jason Nitz?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Why are you here?
Okay,
And
so
I mean that in the kindness of ways.
yeah, James Lidgy was set today. He's unindicted, so I imagine that's why he was dropped. We've had issues with, he's supposed to enter this pretrial diversion program, but the pretrial diversion people won't go to the jailhouse. They say they have papers to sign, and the jail won't set them up with a Zoom visit so that they can sign things, go over the paperwork digitally with him. So I'm wondering if there's some way to facilitate him being able to come to one of these Zoom hearings and let us meet with him there. I believe that the coordinator told his case manager said she was going to contact the court to arrange something, but at this
I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1 if you'll discuss it with the court coordinator.
Sure.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, could you go to breakout room number 1, please?
Yes, ma'am. If you can just give me just a second, Judge. I'm on the phone.
All right, thank you. And who are the prosecutors on Carazales? Because we'll take that up now.
Hunter Morris, Judge.
Who's the defense?
Doug Kapmeyer.
Okay. Court is calling 2021 CR 2967, State of Texas versus Gloria Carazales. Can I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state?
Hunter Morris for the state.
For the defense?
Douglas Kapmeyer.
Right, and are you Ms. Carazales? Could you unmute for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state or the defense?
None from the state.
Ms. Carazales, I'm showing you a document entitled Defendants Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
Yes.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Carazales, I'm showing you a document entitled Application for Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Judge, state moves to waive the repeater count proceeding on count 1.
Any objection?
No objection.
Ms. Carazales, I'm showing you a document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand what your charge was? Evading arrest, detention with a vehicle? That's a 3rd-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Carazales, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than a plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Next, I'm showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney? Did you
Yes, ma'am.
understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. State recommends community supervision. This will run concurrent with County Court Cause number 654803. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense is at the plea bargain agreement.
Yes, Your Honor.
State is at the plea bargain agreement.
It is, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver Repeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney?
Yes,
Did you
ma'am.
understand it? And did you
Yes.
electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court.
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 5 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 150 hours community service restitution, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, ignition interlock. Is there a term for the ignition interlock that's being requested?
Full term, Judge. Well, full term on the county court case, Judge, so 1 year.
1 year Texas driver's license suspension and defensive driving course. Did you understand those were recommendations for the state, and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged in the indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
State moves to admit states 1 with attachments.
No
Any
objection.
Ms. Carazales, I'm going to show you what's entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We'd like to, Your Honor.
All right, and Rebecca, for the record, this is cause number 2021 CR 2967. It's Gloria Marie Carazales. All right, Mr. Kampmeyer, is there anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Just that she would like to try to get out as soon as possible, Your Honor.
I mean, well, everybody wants to get out as soon as possible, Ms. Carazales.
We just hope that you follow the agreement, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Carazales,
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
31.
All right, you're 31 years old. Why are you driving recklessly where you could kill people? This could have been so much differently. You could have killed somebody who's out just trying to enjoy their life, and you're driving like you are a 16-year-old with some souped up first car.
I have no reason to have driven like that.
Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
13, 11, and 5.
And where were they when you were driving so reckless?
At home.
With who?
With their grandparents.
All right, so that with their grandparents, does this mean that your grandparents have custody of them?
No, ma'am. I have them. They were just asleep when I left. I take care of them.
Well, technically not if you're leaving them with your grandparents. So why did the officer say that they smell marijuana in the vehicle?
I don't know. That's why he gave me a DUI because he says that I was under the influence, but I passed all the tests.
Let me ask you this. Why are you not being a good role model for your children?
I have no excuse for that, or no reason.
Here's the thing. Children learn, and the way they learn is by imitating what they see other people do. You know how babies learn to talk? They listen to people. So when you hear a child that's young and they just learn how to speak and they're using profanity, you know why they're using profanity? Because people around them have used profanity. So you're driving reckless. You have this felony case now. It's a felony conviction. You've made your life hard. You've made your children's life hard. And let me tell you why you've made your children's life hard. Because now they have a mother with a felony conviction who, because she has a felony conviction, she has closed the door on her opportunities to do certain things. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a job?
I take care of my husband, who's a paraplegic.
Well, you're going to have to get a job.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to allow you to be a home health care provider. You say you take care of him. Does the government pay you to take care of him?
No, ma'am.
So how are you all supporting yourselves?
He supports us.
With
his he gets paid. But I also have a job waiting for me at Waste Management. It's the recycle part, but
all right, you're going to have to get employment because you need to support yourself. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
How far did you go in school?
I got my GED.
And what are you planning on doing with the rest of your life?
I was planning on going to school at night for business. And like I said, I have a job waiting for me at Waste Management. Right now it's the recycle part, but I plan on going to my CDL and then going for business and working in the offices. I was already applying for the FAFSA.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. Sentence you to 5 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 5 years. $1,500 fine, that will be probated. Concurrent with County Court Cause Number 654830, DWI Education Course, DWI Victim Impact Panel, Ignition Interlock for 1 year, 1 year Texas driver's license suspension, proof of employment within 30 days of release, no employment with vulnerable persons. And what I mean by that is you're not allowed any employment with minors or as a home health care provider. There'll be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, random field visits once per month. What's your drug of choice?
I got myself clean.
Well, before you got yourself clean, what's your drug of choice?
It was meth.
All right, we're going to do the UA hotline. If it's a positive UA, the first positive UA, I want her in intensive outpatient treatment with probation. Rebecca, is there anything else that she needs?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm not giving you any community service hours because you have a lot on your plate. So don't use that as the opportunity to do something foolish, you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to show you a document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And also because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Corrales, going forward, while you're on probation out of this court, every decision you need to make, you need to ask yourself, is the decision I'm making going to result in me having a motion to revoke and potentially going to prison for 5 years? Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, with that, we'll close the record. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. Probation will go over conditions with you.
Excuse me,
And,
Judge, did you do the defensive driving course or no?
Yes, I did do the defensive driving course.
Okay.
So if you go to breakout room number 2, Mr. Douglas Kapmeyer, you can go to 2, or either you can be excused. I know you've spent a long time with us. Some people don't want to leave. They want to stay. So if you want to stay, you can go to number 2.
I hit not now.
Now, see, you know what, Brenda, I've just given him a trap because if he leaves, he's saying he doesn't want to stay with us.
That's right.
So,
I'm bold. Bye.
have a good one.
Y'all too.
All right, bye-bye. Who's the party on?
I sent you a chat.
Okay, thank you. All right. All right. Who's
So
the party?
any way we could be excused?
Oh, on Gomez Beltran?
Yes.
What is happening with Mr. Beltran?
Well, I've met with Hunter and we both need a little time to review this. We'd like a couple-week reset.
All right, on Mr. Beltran, is that an indicted case?
Yes.
Just give me one moment.
And Judge, after I spoke with Mr. Bain, I was able to make contact, or my advocate was able to make contact with one of the 2 victims in this case. And we did extend an offer to Mr. Bain to discuss with his client.
Okay, what page is this on? Could somebody help me with that? Because I don't see it on the docket.
2020 CR 2204.
No. I'm trying to find the page number on the docket sheet.
I can't help you there, Judge.
But you tried. That's all. That's what counts. Let me see. Okay, how much time do y'all need?
2 or 3 weeks, I think is just fine, Judge.
All right, Norma, on Mr. Beltran, can you recall that in 3 weeks?
Yes, ma'am.
And since,
Mr. Bain, please check your chat. I did chat you an offer.
okay.
The 19th.
Judge, about the bond on that, for some reason, he was on bond and bond got raised when he got indicted, Judge.
Let me have the clerks check on that.
That'll be good.
Because I don't
if you'll
know
do that.
why that would happen.
I believe Hunter would not object to going back to the other bond based upon our conversation.
All right, if you all send me an email to that agreement, I will of course sign it and make it happen.
Very well. Thank you, Judge.
All right,
Thank you, Hunter.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your patience.
Your Honor,
Yes.
we're still trying to figure out what happened to my client's paperwork.
All right, just give us a second.
Excuse?
Judge, I forwarded that paperwork to both clerks and Ms. Ferguson about 3-4 minutes ago.
All right, so they should have it, Nifa.
Okay.
And Nifa, what's going to happen on your end is you and your client are too close together, so we're getting a lot
Yeah.
of feedback on this end.
Huh. Huh. Is that better? No.
No.
Okay.
All right, so we'll work on that. All right, is the party on Desiree Tina here?
Excuse me, Jorge Gomez, may I be excused or?
Yes, Mr. Gomez, just wait right there. We're going to come back on you on the 19th, but the court coordinator has to call them and remove you, okay?
Just stated.
All right, who's the parties on Tina?
I'm Miss Desiree Tena, but I still don't see my lawyer. I
To
sent him an
wait a
email,
minute.
and he hasn't responded to me.
No, he's, Mr. Gomez, you're excused. You're excused, Mr. Gomez. All right, just give us a second. We will see where your attorney is.
Yes, ma'am.
Patrick Flick. Or Patrick Flick.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Doing just fine. How are you?
Oh, great. It's been a long day, but hey, all the attorneys have had a lot of patience, so that's appreciated. Staff is great. So what is happening with your client, Dela Cruz?
Yes, Your Honor. I spoke to David Lunan this morning. I don't see him in the gallery presently, but Your Honor, David and I discovered some discovery issues, and so we are trying to work through all of those. Just by way of background, Your Honor, I have been given 338 pages of written discovery or documents, and then there are 30 to 40 witness statements that were taken either by audio or by video.
Mr. Flick, let's do this. Let me see you in breakout room number 1 quickly, please.
Sure.
Everyone, just give me a moment. Okay, Nifa, I believe they're printing out your documents. Eduardo Jimenez, you're here because of what's going on?
Yes, Judge. I have Christopher Rios, and I think that Joe Ray Garcia would like to speak to me about that case.
All right, let me send you to breakout room number 1.
All right, thank you, Judge.
And Joe Ray, if you could meet him in breakout room number 1. And Mr. Philip, you're done. Thank you. Oh, you're muted.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The court date was May 28th, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. May I be excused?
Yes. Jody Sawyers, you're here.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm here.
For what case?
Nicholas Valdez. He's on Zoom as well.
And that's on a motion to modify. Who is the prosecutor who was working with you on that?
Joe Ray, and I think we have an agreement to reinstate the bond.
Okay.
I saw Joe Ray earlier on here.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you to breakout room where Joe Ray is, or if you're working with David Martin, and if you can just tell him if they'll send that to me by email, then I will make it happen. And if you have an order, Ms. Sawyers, for the reinstatement of the bond, send that to me. If you do not, that's fine.
I didn't have one prepared. I have a, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have a question though. I mean, if he had a bail bondsman, I guess they have to agree to stay on it.
They would have to agree to be back on the bond.
Okay. Because it was a bond increase, or I guess a remand without bond.
Yes, but I'll reinstate the bond. Is that if that's your agreement with Joe Ray?
Okay.
I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. Just ask Joe Ray and you if you all would see me in the email to that agreement, and I'll take care of it.
And if he wants to address you, we just come back in here and address you. Perfect. Thank
you. Andrews Campion.
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. So what is happening with your client?
Well, Mr. Salazar is here and he's present on the Zoom. But our issue is we had filed a motion to compel disclosure of evidence in order to have an evidentiary hearing. However, upon further review, Your Honor, of the discovery that we do have, there are multiple references to DPS being a part of the investigation, and that there was helicopter surveillance performed, and it looks like DPS troopers were the ones who performed the stop. However, there is no mention of any particularized DPS trooper or identification badge number or anything like that. So I don't know who I would subpoena to appear on behalf of DPS or as part of the hearing.
Okay, what are you trying to get from DPS that you don't have? That's the question.
So I have nothing from DPS. So
all right,
I want everything.
All right, who was the prosecutor you were working with?
I believe I was working with Alex.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes, Judge, I'm here.
All right, he's saying that there is some, DPS has something. Do we know if DPS has any cameras or any type of discovery from the date of this event?
You'll have to remind me which case we're talking about.
This is on Julian Salazar. I have a cause number if you need it.
And Miss Tina, we're going to see if we can get your attorney here.
Is it the 2016 case?
No, it's 2020 CR 7578. Yes.
7578.
That was 7578. I'm sorry.
No, thank you. I do remember talking to you about this case.
Yeah, and this is the one where we started the hearing and then Mr. Campion had a chance to talk to witnesses.
No, Your Honor, we haven't, I don't believe we started the hearing at all.
I think that was Sean Serene's case, Judge.
I am so sorry. I'm confused with Sean Serene.
That case is set tomorrow, so we'll get to deal with that one. But let's see.
Let me do this. Let me send you all to a breakout room.
Yeah.
And Mr. Campion, if you can tell her what you believe you don't have, and we'll go from there. I'll send you
Yes,
to breakout room number 1.
Okay, thanks, Judge.
Thank
You're welcome. Joe Ray on Jody Sawyer's case, Nicholas Valdez.
Yes, Judge. There is an agreement to reinstate the bond. The state is recommending GPS, but defense is not in agreement to that condition.
All right, let me get paperwork from the clerks on this. Everyone just give me a moment. And was he remanded without bond on all of his cases?
It's my understanding it was just the family violence case, Your Honor.
Which one is that? Because he has, is it the, because he has 3 listed on here.
Hold on one second. I can,
Let me double check.
I believe it was the Nightmeg 598857. But maybe Joe Ray can confirm for me.
Yeah, let me pull it up. I thought the same thing, but let me double check.
While you all look at that, let me go to the clerks to get a V page. I will be right back.
Yes, ma'am.
That was it.
All right, so on, okay, I have the wrong V page. Just give me a second. All right, Nefa, they have your paperwork. I'm going to put you in a breakout room number 2
Yes, Your Honor.
so that your client can be sworn in.
Yes,
And
Your
for the
Honor.
prosecutor on her case, could you send me a discovery acknowledgement, please?
Yes, I will, Judge. And I'll be right back in 2 minutes after I send that. I have to run a bucket of paint to some painters.
Oh, no problem. All right. So on Nicholas Valdez, so there's an agreement that I reinstate the bond. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, Judge.
Hi, can you hear me? Yes.
Right. Is there anything else
Thank
that's
you.
requested?
Yes, Judge, from the state, we're requesting full GPS due to the 2 pending felonies that have been indicted, and then 3 family violence cases for the safety of the victim and the community.
And Your
Yes.
Honor, on that request for GPS, I would like the state to have to put on evidence as to why they think that it's, I mean, there's been evidence that they tendered to us that it's actually the complaining witness who keeps showing up where our client is located, and she's admitted that to them. It's not our client going to her. And so GPS would fail to address that issue.
So here's the thing, Joe Ray, what's going on with the complainant? Is the complainant, and we're not on the record yet, is the complainant showing up?
Judge, there are some, yes, the complainant has stated that after the fact. They're speaking with intake. They're still gathering things. It's still waiting indictment.
Okay, so here's the thing. Ms. Sawyers, I understand what you're saying, but then I also have the new number 1. I don't know if it's true or not, but I have the new number 1 on here that's, well, not number 1 because it's not a motion to revoke, but I have the new case that is continuous violence.
And I understand that it, as far as categorically, it looks like it's sensational and that there should be something that we should be addressing, except when you read the police report that's attached to it, in both instances, she's showing up where he's at. And y'all didn't, and so I can ask for maybe an examining trial on it, but that takes time. And I'm saying the state hasn't shown that any evidence. I mean, the complaining witness is showing up. She's cooperative with the state. She's telling the state that she lied about these accusations. The state's provided us Brady declarations on that. And so at this point, it's over the top onerous without them having to have carry their burden to show you why it's even reasonable to require GPS. Yes, the accusation has been lodged, but they're also aware of subsequent information which their own complaining witness has recanted and admitted she lied. And that is coincided, or when you take the police report and then you take a third party witness, all of those support the fact that she did lie and that she's the one coming to my client, not the other way around, because she thinks my client is with other women.
Okay, so here's the other thing we have. Your client actually has a warrant out for his arrest. He's not in the courtroom. He's on Zoom. You know, it is what it is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do GPS tracking and I'll waive the fees. All right.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Does he need to meet with probation or the pretrial or something to go get that on?
Yes. He's going to have to meet with pretrial to get that placed on.
And I guess they'll call and schedule that with him. And I'll walk him through that. Okay, thank you.
Right. You're welcome.
May we be excused?
Yes.
Okay.
Harry, just give me a moment. We have an administrative matter to take up.
Eduardo, you can go back and break out room 1 and I can speak to you. You should be assigned to it still.
Joe Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Garcia? Yeah, may I speak to you in a breakout room before the judge comes back?
Yeah, are you assigned to one?
No.
I think we have to wait for it. I can't move you.
Okay, I thought you were a co-chair.
Joe Ray, I think you can if you're a co-host.
I played with it. I don't see anything that allows me
Does
to.
someone need to move somewhere?
Yeah, can you move
All right.
Mr. Sepulveda?
Desiree
Wait.
Tina.
Judge,
Who's
I wanted to
party
speak
on
to the
this?
I was requesting to speak to the prosecutor before we start the plea, if you would allow me to do so.
Who's the prosecutor?
Joe Ray Garcia.
Court is calling 2020 CR 10018, State of Texas versus Desiree Suzanne Tina. Could I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state,
Joe Ray Garcia for the state.
for the defense?
And Jesse Sepulveda for the defense, Your Honor. I'm not ready. I'd like to speak to the prosecutor prior to taking the plea, if I'd be allowed to do so.
Sure. I'll send you to breakout room number 1.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, Andres Campion back from the breakout room.
Just 1 second. Nifa, are you ready? Nifa, don't go anywhere.
No, we're ready, Your Honor.
All right, who's the prosecutor? Is it Hunter?
Yes,
It is, Judge.
Yes, I can hear you. Court is calling 2020 CR 11345, State of Texas versus Guadalupe Casares. Could I have parties announced for the record, please?
Hunter Morris for the state.
And for the defense? All right, everyone, just give me a moment. For some reason, I do not have this file at all. It's been a Monday today. Just a second. All right, we're back on the record. Mr. Casares, I'm going to show you a document entitled Defendants Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you
Yes.
electronically sign it? Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Costeros, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment? State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are proceeding on count one, Judge, and moving to waive the habitual enhancement.
Any objections to the waivers? Mr. Costeros, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand what you're charged with is forgery of a government or national instrument, money, or security? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison with a possible fine up to $10,000. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial? A
Yes.
right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you are giving up those rights.
Yes, ma'am.
You intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case.
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense? Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him? I can't hear you.
In my opinion, he does have a rational.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Costeros.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Costeros, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Next, I'm showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on count one only. They're asking that your punishment be assessed at a cap of 5 years in the prison. There's a $0 fine, and the state is silent on your application. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver Repeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal. The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the offense is charged in an indictment. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea.
State moves to admit states one with attachments.
Any objections? All right, Mr. Costeros, I'm going to show you a document entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it in all the
Yes.
appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. The court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will find you guilty. We'll set this for sentencing at a later date. Ms. Ferguson, can you give me a date to come back for sentencing? The defendant is on bond.
Yes, ma'am. Give me 1 second, Judge. It'll be. Oh, darn it. Oh my God. Come back on June 9th.
All right, Mr. Caceres will be back on June 9th. And you'll need to appear in the courtroom, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and that will be June 9th at 9 a.m. What's going to end up happening is probation will interview you. I'll base my decision on your application based upon your interview and report that's prepared by probation and any other evidence that is submitted to me. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, then I will send you to breakout room number 2, and the probation officer will meet you there. And Ms. Carrillo, if you'll just have him go back to breakout room number 2, please.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Judge, are you just requesting PSI or PSI and TAP?
If he feels that, I mean, I don't believe there's a drug issue with him, but if you discover in your interview that there is, then TAP evaluation.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Judge, may I have a word?
Just 1 moment. Yes.
Yes, so I have Christopher Rios on an MTR. I would be requesting a reset on the MTR. I understand you obviously don't have to grant it, but I haven't seen Chris in quite a long time, and it's a complicated case because he's got a simultaneous CPS case that I'm representing him on. And so he has a lot of paperwork on the CPS side and on the probation side that he needs to bring to me to explain to me what's been going on. So I would just ask for a very short recess. I'm sorry, a very short reset so that we can get on the same page before we move forward with the MTR.
All right, Norma, on Christopher Rios.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you set this for a contested hearing?
Yes, ma'am. Give me just a second, Judge. I need to look at the calendar. I can do it for the 17th of May.
All right, Mr. Rios, you need to be here in the courtroom on May 17th at 9 a.m.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, it's the 187th District Court,
Yes, ma'am.
300 De La Rosa. Do you understand?
I'm familiar with it, ma'am. I'm sorry, I wasn't aware that I was supposed to be in court today.
No, your attorney is asking for a continuance.
Yes,
So-
ma'am. I understand.
All right, then, Mr. Jimenez, you are excused.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
It's gonna, Judge, it's gonna be in the afternoon at 2 p.m.
It'll be at 2 p.m., Mr. Rios.
Yes, ma'am. I'll write it down.
Can you let Mr. Jimenez know that it'll be at 2?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Judge, I'm back with Andres Campion, and we discussed the Julian Salazar case.
Yes.
I
Yes,
think
Your
we have a resolution.
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to have the case recalled for next week if we can, to try and sort this out, but I'm anticipating we should be able to have a resolution before then.
All right. Norma, can you recall Mr. Salazar for next week, please?
Yes, ma'am. I can do Monday or Wednesday.
Wednesday seems as good a day as ever since my Monday is really busy.
Okay. So we will see you back on May 5th.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Mr. Salazar,
Yes.
will you call the office in the morning and set up an appointment to come in tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I got you. Thank you.
Thank
All
you very
right,
much.
see you on May 5th.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. You have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Thanks.
All right, Mr. Sepulveda, on Desiree Tina, what is the issue?
There's no issue any longer, Your Honor. It was a correction on the paperwork.
Is this the correction in the paperwork that I need to know about?
I think he's going to make an oral amendment.
Positive for you.
What is the
Yes,
correction?
Judge. It's
So we
on
had
the
it
first
done as
page
a
of the.
third.
Oh,
Yes.
It's on the first page of the plea packet, Your Honor, on the degree. It states degree. It should be a state jail felony.
Yes. All right, okay, let me tell you guys, if this is a state jail felony, this is not the proper paperwork for state jail felony. So we can recall it for tomorrow.
Judge, please.
Y'all don't have the correct paperwork. This paperwork isn't correct.
Been on since 9:30, Your Honor.
I mean, you've been on since 9:30. I've been here since 8:30.
But you've had umpteen cases. I've had one.
Yeah, so that makes it even worse. Women are multitaskers. So if you all get the paperwork, we'll do it. But this isn't the appropriate paperwork. So if you all want to redo the only part of the paperwork you have to redo would be the court admonishments and the waivers. If y'all want to get that done for me.
Yes, I'm receptive to that.
All right. And Joe Ray, the part that will need to be done, you don't have to redo the plea paperwork page, not the plea bargain page, just everything else.
Okay, I'll start working on it.
Judge, is this our last case today?
Yes, this is the last case.
Okay, sorry, Jory.
I think we may have others, but could I see everyone else in the other prosecutors in breakout room number 1, please? And Brenna, if I could see you in 1, please. Brenna, let the record note that Mr. Sepulveda is keeping us here after 5.
Oh, Your Honor. It's not me.
See, and you know what?
It's not me.
He has the virtual background pretending like he's in a courtroom. He is at home
Does
somewhere.
this mean I can itemize on this case? It's like,
All right.
Judge,
yes.
Can you put me in a breakout room? I don't appear to have that ability at the moment.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
just
you'll
giving it to you. And Brenna, if you would come to that breakout room with me as well.
Judge, can you send me there too?
Yes. And Norma, could you go to breakout room number 1, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Joe Ray, so you're going to send it to my email and I just have to re-sign it?
Yeah, I will. I wonder what exactly is different about it.
I think it just has the range of punishment different. Instead of 2 to
Yeah, I know,
10,
but-
180 to 2 years. And
Right, but I mean, that could be orally amended to.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
I was afraid if we recalled it tomorrow, I'd be on till 4:30. Dory, out of curiosity, how often do y'all work this late?
Often,
Often? Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I redid everything except I didn't do the plea paperwork because you said that that one sheet that can just be,
Okay, you just send it to me?
yeah, it's sent.
Got it. Okay.
Should be with your client's email now.
Desiree, please check your email.
I did. I'm actually going over the paperwork. We should be getting an email shortly. But it's
Right.
Hey, Rob, you should have it now. If you can hear me.
Hey, Joe Ray.
Yes.
One more thing. I know there's nothing in the paperwork about our agreement that it's not a family violence case, but I guess I'd like to put something on the record if you don't mind.
That's fine.
Sure, Ray, y'all get
Mark,
everything
do you have
squared away?
paperwork from Tina coming?
Yeah, Dave.
Okay.
All right, the clerk has told me she's approved everything. She's just waiting for it to print out. And once that's done, we'll take up your case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. No, just that page. All right, thank you. All right, thank you. All right, and here's this. You're welcome. Oh, just one second, and if you could take these down, and this one I still have to fill out. All right, the court is calling 2020 CR 10018, State of Texas versus Desiree Suzanne Tina. Do I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state?
Joey Garcia.
For the defense?
Jesse Sepulveda.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
Objections.
Any objection from the defense?
No objections.
Ms. Tina, I'm showing you a document entitled Defendants Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review that discovery with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Tina, I'm showing you a document entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places? Ms. Tina?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Did you understand what you're charged with is injury to a child, bodily injury, reckless? That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargaining with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up that right and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, grant the motion, and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor, she has.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes, I do.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, I do.
Ms. Tina, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived the right to jury trial. I'm showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a $1,000 fine that'll be probated. State recommends deferred adjudication. There is to be no contact with James Levario, Levario, and Denise Renteria, Renteria. Did you understand that to be the plea bargaining agreement?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver Repeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court.
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 2 years. And there'll be 60 hours of community service restitution and a TAP evaluation. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense is charged in the indictment. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State
Your
any
Honor.
evidence? Yes.
If you would allow her to plead no contest, please.
All right, Ms. Tina, your attorney is requesting that you be allowed to plead no contest. Are you pleading guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
All right, state, do you have any evidence to support the defendant's no contest plea?
State offer State's Exhibit 1 and all its attachments.
Any objections?
No objections.
Ms. Tina, I'm showing you what's entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. Having reviewed on state's exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding of guilt as you have applied for deferred adjudication. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to put something on the record if you allow me to, though, Judge.
Yes.
Because there's nothing in the plea bargain details or the stipulations regarding, this was initially filed as or was indicted as a family violence case. But after reviewing the facts of the case and the law in the family code and the government code, the Assistant District Attorney Joe Ray Garcia and I agreed that it didn't meet the criteria of a family violence offense. So I just want that to be on the record and say, is that correct, Mr. Garcia?
Yes, Judge, it doesn't fall within the degrees necessary for infinity to find affirmative finding of family violence.
Yes. And I think that it's important to put that on the record because there's nothing in the stipulation paperwork.
Okay. Is there anything else?
No, Your Honor, other than respectfully requesting that you follow the agreement that we have.
All right. Miss Tina?
Yes, ma'am.
If you're tested today for any type of controlled substances or alcohol, what are the results going to be?
I will test positive for marijuana.
Anything else?
No, ma'am.
All right. Do you have employment?
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you work?
I work at a jewelry store.
At a what?
A jewelry store.
All right. How long have you been working there?
I have been there since the incident last year.
All right. And how old are you?
I'm 23.
How far did you go in school?
I'm not 23, I'm 25.
How far did you go in school?
I completed some college. I did not finish my associates.
All right. This is what the court is going to do.
Your Honor, if I may ask one question. Ms. Tana, are you residing in San Antonio?
No, sir. I live in Richmond, Texas.
Yes, Judge. So if you would allow the probation to be transferred.
What county is that?
Fort Bend County.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. Sentence you to 2 years deferred adjudication, $1,000 fine, probated, 60 hours of community service restitution. Court will not accept payment for those hours. No contact with James.
Yes, ma'am.
Lavario, Denise Renteria, proof of employment within 30 days. No employment with vulnerable persons. That means that you cannot work as a home health care provider or any employment that requires the supervision of minors.
Okay.
Transfer to Fort Bend County. Regular Zoom reporting or in person. Random UAs or patch. Is there anything else you would need, Rebecca?
Are you going to do a parenting class, Judge?
Yes. Miss Desiree, Desiree, Tina, do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, no parenting. Are you around any children right now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you feel you need in order to be successful on this probation, Miss Tina?
No, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to add anger management. It's not the long course, but some anger management.
Okay.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. We're going to go off the record. I'm going to send you, I'm going to stop the live stream. We'll pick up